I've come across this comment many times under a Chinese post on TikTok, and also glad to see that this girl was able to give it a facial expression. Hello, amazing viewer. Delighted to have you once more at Comfort for Life. You are new here. If I bring to you compilation of TikTok and Red Note videos for educational purposes, why don't you subscribe? And to my returning viewers, I love and appreciate. Thank you so much for being here. I'm back again with another compilation.
Hey, there's something that you've heard so many times but never really see it in your country. I'll go first. I'm Chinese. I live in Shanghai. Actually, I am from Wuhan. So, actually, I never see anyone never eat bat in Wuhan. This is one thing. Another thing is, I've heard so many people are saying that people from the south, like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, eat monkey head. Monkey head. They eat monkey head. What's that for? I mean, like everybody talking about, but none of my friends really see it, the people eating monkey head, or they had experience to eat monkey head. Is it like rumor or something? I don't know. I'm not really sure. So what about you guys? Do you have that thing in your country?
I had dog tastes better than chicken. Is that true? Yes, it is. It is better, way better. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, some say it might be like better than Wagyu beef if you know how to cook it. Well, you can go to Vietnam, you can go to Korea, you can go to Sweden. I think Sweden. Maybe some deep south. I think some of the southern people, they eat some crazy shit too. Go try. Give it a try, man.
Hey, so thanks so much for this question, although it is kind of funny. No, China doesn't dump all the trash in the ocean, but it is interesting that Western media will have you believe this, and China does a great job of recycling, and they've actually figured out that it's not your plastic straw that causes the most pollution. It's mainly industry and overall trash culture. So they do a lot of recycling, but in very specific ways. There was a period of time a couple years ago that they had us in the community like separating our own trash into 3 different bins, but they realized like people mess that up all the time and it's not really effective. And if you go to Europe, we were in the Netherlands living all last year, so I can speak from some experience there too. Nobody listens to or obeys the sign on what trash to put where. So you'll have bottles in the paper one and waste residual trash or food scraps in the wrong bin and so on. And so China really put its major focus on like the big polluters, which are going to be your industries. And now in the United States, you have data centers that are taking all the infrastructure that was meant for people and they're putting those into industrial businesses. So good luck with that. And here in China, that's something that they pay close attention to, right? So you have to have enough power for your people. You have to have enough water pressure for the people. You can't just let a company come in, give them a tax credit and let them ruin your community. So I guess you could. That'd be called living in the USA. So hopefully this was helpful. I'm not trying to bash America too much, but it is clearly different when the government has a common sense and long-term perspective on fixing things like pollution. Whereas the United States has just gotten to whoever gives me the most money or has the most connections and power takes over the community and does what they want. So hopefully this was helpful, shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.
The Chinese food that we have at home don't exist in China. No salt and pepper chips, no chicken balls, not even a sweet and sour chicken. I'm yet to find sweet and sour chicken. And I'm so confused because how have I come all the way to the other side of the world? I'm in China. And I'm expecting it's not given.
You know what's funny about this clip is to see that she traveled all the way to China and doesn't want to know what China is like. She traveled with the China in her mind and she isn't even ready to explore what it is. Anyway, that's my take. Yeah, it's giving this.
Thanks so much for this comment. And as an American living in China, I also heard while I was in America about the social credit score system and how you get negative points if you jaywalk and all of that. So now let's go ahead and debunk that by just jaywalking across the street. But before we do that, let's break down this comment here. So this perfectly explains what the social credit system that people are referring to actually is. So there's this outlying scenario where we have a family member from a rural area. They invest in a business. The business doesn't do well. Unfortunately, they invested all of their personal credit into the business. So they took out personal loans to put that money into a business that then fails. Well, that results in them going into quote unquote bankruptcy, right? So basically the people of China have to bail you out at that point. Okay, here we're about to jaywalk. Now we're going to get negative social credit. You guys ready? All right, CCP will be coming after me here in about 2 seconds. All right, this is the part where my score's about to drop. Pay attention to my social credit score on that billboard. All right, total sarcasm. Obviously, nothing happens to you if you jaywalk. Now back to what I was saying about the bankruptcy. So now the people of China have to bail you out because you're bankrupt. China puts in restrictions because of your social status as a bankrupt person to make sure that people don't do that purposefully. Meaning they don't want someone to go be bankrupt just to save a bunch of cash, all the cash that they borrowed, and then travel in luxury for the rest of their life. So you can't take the first class train ticket, you have to take the economy. You can't fly airplanes, you have to take trains. So you're basically relegated to a very normal life until you pay back the debt. So hopefully this is helpful. It sheds a little bit of context and shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers, guys.
Don't trust her. She's paid to praise China. Okay, I'm still waiting. Who can pay me? I want to move out of my 30 square meter apartment and have a dog, corgi. Oh, is it because that American government often pays you to spread propaganda, so you're projecting this on us, on me? Another one. This is CCP allowing this particular individual to post on TikTok. They don't have global internet access. No coincidence that all her posts started to appear in February. Is this really hard to understand? Do you remember that in January, lots of TT refugees flooded to Red Note? I wanted to give them a warm welcome, so I started the live streaming and became a content creator. After chatting with them, I was so shocked by the crazy amount of Western propaganda they have been fed. Things like China, social credit score, no freedom, working 12 hours every day for $300 a month, and every Chinese person is a spy, including me, of course. As a Chinese person, I couldn't stand by and let these lies fuel hatreds. So I want to do my parts to break the stereotypes, share the real China, and hopefully build friendships along the way. I know I'm not perfect, and I will do my best to stay objective. After all, I'm just a normal person sharing my life and my culture, and you don't have to take my word for it. Come and see China for yourself. Let's stand together and tear down the barriers that divide us. Who knows? Maybe you will find a second home in China, or perhaps I will discover new perspectives through you. I hope that love and friendship can triumph over hate and bias.
Hey, so thanks so much for the comment, and I'll reintroduce my channel. So my name's Colin. I'm an American living in China. My wife is Chinese, and here in China, I just got bored walking around. So there's times where I need to walk to either get dinner or go to the gym or go home or go to work. And while I walk, I take videos and I show you guys what China's really like. So I try to be unbiased and just compare China to the United States. We have a home in both countries, in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then also here in Hangzhou, China. So with that said, I will show you anything you'd like to see in terms of the good, bad, and the ugly. But what Americans are having a really hard time with is there's not a lot of ugly in China. Meaning I can show you this convenience store. I mean, this guy is delivering like stuff to the convenience store. Here's the convenience store he's going to be delivering to. I mean, there's just, it's a pretty normal country. It does look pretty different. But with that said, I just show you guys, like I said, everything that's quote unquote real. I open up my camera and I walk around with it in front of my face. I'm like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. And hopefully this is helpful and shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.
I don't think it's okay to think that way. Why is that some people believe that one need to be paid in order to think objectively or be unbiased? Because I really don't understand. If at all I haven't been faced by such comment, I would believe that people are paid by the Chinese government to post videos about China. But since I am not a Chinese, as you can see, I am not in China, yeah? And why is that you also believe that they pay me to post videos? And if we believe in China that much, that they can be able to just pay some people around the world to post videos about China, to speak positively about China, why is that we doubt some of the things that they achieve? This is another comment. I think everyone in China should now become a content creator. I've also seen this comment so many times. The sky in China is never blue. So if you traveled to China some years back, Travel back, please. Travel again. Plan another visit. Cause it's not what it was.
This country, and it's obviously not. Like, it's very capitalistic. And one of the biggest examples is real estate. Like, with real estate, the government owns all of the land, but you can own property on the land. And honestly, a lot of countries do this too, like Indonesia. This is also to make sure that like local people own the land. So like probably the wealthiest people in China are real estate developers. But something that I find so fascinating that I just learned this week is that, so China has like 1.4 billion people, but it also has a very declining birth rate. So a lot of the people are elderly people, and it's probably like the second most populous country in the world after India. Because the government was preparing for such a high population that it literally has enough housing for 3 billion people in China, which is absolutely insane. Like, I don't think any country has way more housing, like over 2 times the amount of housing than there are the population. And this is also a huge reason why there are like there's like very little homeless people in China. Now, because there aren't enough people to even fill these houses, they're actually turning them into like retirement homes for older people for like when they can't live like in their normal homes anymore. But that is also, I'm not going to talk about politics in China, but because I just like don't care to on the internet, but this is the reality of like what it's like living in a so-called communist country like China. That's actually not a communist country, but the government has a lot of socialist reforms under like a very capitalistic society.
It may surprise you, but in China, public opinions really matters to the government. Here's a funny example. Someone in Shenzhen found a funny translated public sign. She posted it on the red note as a joke. Later that night, someone passed by the same location and noticed that the sign had been fixed. The translation was corrected within hours just because of a viral post. Although I think they should keep it that way. It's kind of fun. Of course, Shenzhen is like one of the best run cities in China, but they still make mistakes, sometimes even arrogant ones. But the important thing is, they are constantly being watched and constantly being corrected.
Hey, so thanks so much for the question. And of course, Chinese people can leave the country if they'd like. The only restriction to that would be if you work at a high level, like national security related firm, and you're working on a secretive project. The same in the US. So unless you sign on at a job that says you will stay inside of the country boundaries, then there's no reason why you couldn't leave, use your passport just like anyone else. So Chinese people travel quite a bit. China is huge and has a lot of different landscapes. So I think the most in any country around the world. So there's a lot you can see just in China, very similar to the United States, where if you travel all 50 states, you're going to see a lot of different views and landscapes, cultures, etc. Here in China, you get that same experience. So the majority of Chinese people, I think, prefer to travel inside of China. Everyone speaks Chinese. It's just very easy. Same reason why most Americans don't leave. But I would say more Chinese people travel the world than Americans do. And Americans are one of the worst at traveling the world. They think they've got it so good. And if you actually travel around, you'll see that America's slipping and going a little bit further and further behind as the years go on. So I'm Colin. I'm an American living in China. I also have a home in Cincinnati, Ohio. My wife is Chinese. And hopefully this shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.
Everything you know about China, I guarantee, is an absolute lie. And I'm about to tell you the truth about China. 15 facts of things you probably didn't know. So hey everyone, I'm David. I used to live in China. I had companies in China. I spent over 12 years there. I speak, read, write Mandarin. I'm probably one of the best guys to actually discuss this topic. And that's not me kissing my own ass. I'm actually telling you, I'm probably one of the few that could actually give you the real facts. Okay, let's go with the list. Number 1, everything in China is copied. That is false. Okay, China leads in AI, EVs, high-speed rail, faster and cheaper than the West. I know, I used to live there. Trust me, it's so much cheaper. Number 2, China has no freedom at all. This is misleading. It is a different system, yes, but people live normal lives, travel freely and use social media, their own platforms. That's where I have 8 million followers on. Douyin, Little Red Book, or you call it Red Note, Bilibili, all these platforms. Number 3, Chinese people hate their government. Look, polls show high trust in their government, and they prioritize safety and longevity over the sense of privacy and freedom. Number 4, China is collapsing. Look, they've been saying this for 30 years. Meanwhile, China lifted 800 million people out of poverty and it's still growing. I know because I used to live in a small town called Huhot, and within a span of 3 years, it went from a small town to a major city with subways and Starbucks anywhere, which is all gone now. It's all Chinese brands, Luckin Coffee and whatnot. The next one is China wants war. Look, China hasn't had a war in decades. So it's not China who has 800 military bases around the world. I wonder who has 800 military bases. Number 6, made in China is cheap and bad. Guys, come on. Do I need to tell you this? iPhone, Teslas, DJI, drones, high-end laptops, all made in China, guys, all from there. Number 7, there's no religion in China. This is false. Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Taoism, all practice. However, they are under government rules. Number 8, you can't criticize anything in China. Guys, I read Mandarin, I read Chinese. They criticize it all the time. The internet is full of debates and sarcasm. The internet users in China are savage. However, they don't write it in English, they write it in Chinese. Number 9, people want to leave China. Many travel and study abroad, but return home for better jobs, safety, and quality of life. Number 10, TikTok is Chinese spyware. Come on. Meanwhile, you have Facebook, Google, and the NSA literally harvesting more data than anything in the world. So which place has more freedom?
So here's the thing. I am in China, and yes, they have palm paying options at stores now where you can literally just put your hand up. You don't have to pay with your phone or card or with cash. So here it is. In the US, they do have these types of payments. But do I trust another country to have my information? First of all, when you come into these countries, you already have to give all your information. You have your passport, they have facial recognition, you have to get your fingerprinted at customs, everything, okay? In the US, you do fingerprinting, you do face recognition. Heck, in the US, they got your social security number, they got your bank information, they got your kid's name, your mama name, your grandpa name, your address, every single thing about you. So the thing with coming to another country and them having all of your information, the US has more information than these other countries do. These other countries just have what I give them. The US, they got your information from birth. They have your blood type, what hospital you were born in, every single little inch about you. And the other thing I wanted to add in regards to trusting other countries, I get a lot of these comments about, oh, facial recognition, oh, they got you on camera. I see majority of facial recognition or people getting caught on camera in the US, especially on those ring cams. Everybody and their mama got those things on their houses. So do you trust another country enough to give them your fingerprint or your palm print or whatever? And the answer is absolutely yes. I would rather do that than to give my blood, sweat, and tears to a country that don't even really like me.
Number 11, China has zero innovation. Really? TikTok, ByteDance, which is the same, WeChat, Alipay, face payments, while they make cars where you can swap the batteries, while they created a whole bunch of AI companies with a budget of just 5.6 million. Come on. Number 12, China censors everything. Yes, but the US suppresses too. Shadow banning, deplatforming, algorithm suppression, everything. Number 13, all government products are made with slave labor. This is bullshit. Most factories are automated, workers are paid, there are labor issues, but same goes for Nike, Apple, Amazon. Number 14, China is dirty and polluted. Air quality has improved massively. I was in Beijing recently and the sky was crystal blue, and they lead the world in renewable energy now. Number 15, the last one, China is not safe. This is bullshit. Violent crimes are much lower than the US, the UK, Australia. You know, women and children walk alone at night in big cities. They don't care. It's safe. So these are facts, whether you accept them or not. And I hope you can follow for more facts about China and about the real world and the real news without the fear of being kidnapped.
You know, if there's one thing internet is really good at is spreading hate. And, you know, when I started this TikTok account, I asked myself, what kind of content should I create? I wrote a couple of things down, and And I realized it's love I really want to spread. I was not planning to talk about China or trade, but, I know a lot about it. It just happened to be on my mind. And, this is what I do. But I really hope in this time of darkness, we have more love and unity. It's not hard to be kind, but it is really easy to be not so kind. So anyways, just want to say, spread the love and screw child labor. Who wants that?